Well, this is pretty special. And those of you that know the Christmas story, or A Christmas Story, Fragile. It's Italian. What could it be? Let's go through the unboxing. And what in the world might this be? Well, it's from a place in Texas that we're going to become new best friends with. And let's just start with, anytime you order something that comes with a gift card or a card in it, you know it's awesome. So, this is from our friends at EAG. Saving the manuals. What could that possibly mean? Thanks for your business. Looking forward to seeing the 914 complete. Next step, cables. Cables? What kind of cables could they be? Well, what could saving the manuals be that then mentions cables? We have lovely packing material. Let me get this out of the way so I don't cut myself. We have this. We have bubble wrap. Oh, let's just start with this, because this will be a dead giveaway. And normally I don't like being called a knob, but in this case, I'll take it, because, oh my gosh, you must know what this is. Oh my gosh, you must know what this is at this point. I'm being very careful. Yes, I'm being very careful with the razor blade, I promise. Oh, it's Christmas. It's Christmas in August. Ooh, look at that. What does that say? It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and an R. And it's very cool. It's a shift knob. What that means is, oh wait. This is boring. This is boring, but it's beautiful, so I'll show you what it is. This is, whoop, don't lose that washer. This is the billet cable bracket that goes on the transaxle and allows the shift cables to be, locked in place on the transmission end. And the transmission I have doesn't have them, so I asked them to include one of these. And this is just a lovely, lovely piece of kit. But now you know I'm saving the best for last, right? I can hardly stand it. You're lucky that I made it this far. You're lucky I even remembered to film this, because when I saw this box arrive, I knew what it was. And I can't hardly wait to get this thing out of here. And shockingly, it's not as heavy as I thought it would be, because I figured it would be quite the contraption. And good heavens, it is quite the contraption. And let's just save everybody time and spin this bad boy on here, because what we have in the box is nearly unobtainium. It is a Ferrari 360 manual shifter assembly from our friends at EAG. These guys are in the business, as the card said, of saving the manual. But what they really are is they make a complete convert your Ferrari paddle shift transmission to a manual by making all the parts necessary. I didn't need all the parts because I already have a manual transmission, so I already have all the magical contraption stuff that goes on the side of the transaxle. And I think I mentioned this in an earlier video, but the transaxle between the F1 box and the manual box, the transaxle is identical. Everything inside it, the throwout bearing, the clutch, everything. What's different is the way it shifts. With the F1 box, there's an assembly that bolts on and does the shifting through a series of computer-driven, you hit the paddle and it has a pneumatic, hydraulic, I don't even know what it is, pushes in the clutch, shifts it, lets the clutch out. So the transmission's identical, but you have to get all the mechanism, the shifting mechanism, and obviously the cable housing, the cables, and this bad boy. And this bad boy is not a Ferrari part. This is an all manufactured from billet. Gotta hesitate to even open the thing up, but it's too cool not to. This is an all built from billet shifter assembly. And I'm almost shaking. I'm so excited. This is so freaking cool. Oh my God. Look at this. Look at this. Woohoo! And it even makes the sounds. It actually makes the sounds. Okay, this is far enough apart that you can see all the important stuff. I think this is a neutral switch interlock, which we don't necessarily need, I guess, but maybe I do. So I know what gear it's in, or maybe it's a reverse. Maybe it's a reverse switch. Actually, I think that might be it. Yeah, so I think that might be the reverse switch. We'll figure all this out in time, though. But let me. Oh, let me just show you this thing. Holy Toledo! Pretty does not even begin to describe it. Right, and now you can see this is where the cable in here, cables go in here and lock on this end, they lock on the end of this, everything gets adjusted, and we got ourselves the coolest thing in the world. Oh, that's how it works. I've never shifted one of these things in real life, so let me take you for a tour. It is ridiculously beautiful. All right. So, those of you that are like me and don't know a heck of a lot about Ferraris and shifters, what's important to note is if you said, hey Chris, wait a second, you told me this was a 360. And I've seen pictures of 360s, and they don't have this riser. The console in the 360, the shift gate, which by the way, notice it doesn't have a horse on it. They can't put the horse on it, obviously, for copyright protection reasons, which I think is okay, because you know me and my minimalistic... I love minimalistic stuff. Anyway, the 360 console sits at this level and runs back. This is actually for a 430. So the super cool thing here is I can use this or I can not use this. I have a convertible console option. I can, mount this thing at the height I want, and I can build a console that either comes to this level or comes to this level. I actually like this because it's very 914-ish, right? It's kind of got that same sort of a look, so I think I'm going to incorporate that, but I reserve the right to change my mind. Anyway, now look at that thing. It is, oh my God, it's lovely. And so then what happens is, I can't really hold the camera and do this all at once, but what you can see, if you look down in there, is there's a spring and a lock, if you will. And what you do to put it in reverse is you got to get it all the way into the reverse plane and then push this down. And hard to see probably, but there's a block. It looks like it might be a Delrin block that prevents this going into the reverse, into the reverse lane until you get that lever pushed down. And I'm not going to screw with this because I'm going to scratch something if I'm not careful. But anyway, so over it comes, down it goes, and then it'll allow it to come back into reverse. But look at that thing. Holy Toledo. How cool is that? It's just lovely. So, major shout out to our friends at EAG, and probably, maybe even more important than the fact that they were able to, that they even make these things, is the fact that they sold me just the shifter. And the reason I say that is I owe a big thanks to my buddy, my new best friend. Never spoken to him in real life. I've only messaged with him. Oh, I shouldn't say that. We did a video call. Is Trev360. If you follow the Ferrari chat boards, or if you go look at the Ferrari chat boards, Trev360 is the man. He's got probably the world's most highly developed 360. He's got all kinds of challenge Stradale parts on it. He's got some very rare pieces that, one of 10 carbon hoods, if I understood the video that I saw correctly. But he's gone all in on the 360 in terms of making it weigh as little as it possibly can, while still maintaining full-on drivability and regular daily useness. So it still has like power windows, but it's, carbon fiber this and that. And anyway, I was turned on to Trev through a local guy here in California when, funny how things work, just getting to know the people in the biz. And I talked with Trev, actually this local fella put me in touch with Trev, and then we were all on a conference call together where I walked him through the build, and Trev said, you know, I'll help you any way I can. His forte, among other things, at least from my perspective, he's the guy that does all the ECU reflashing. And so in an earlier video, you might have heard me say, I found a company who's cracked the code on the ECUs and can help me get this car running outside the 360. Well, that's Trev. And he basically hooked me up with EAG and laid some groundwork and just said, you know, cool project here. You know, maybe you can help this guy out and sell him just what he needs instead of an entire kit. And these guys at EAG, David, the guy who I was dealing with, super helpful, super responsive. I ordered this thing like 3 days ago, and bam, here it is. So it was not cheap. I can't say out loud how much I paid for it because my wife might hear me. But I think when you see it, I don't know if video does this thing justice. It is the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. And one of the one of the things I've said to a couple people who I've been talking to about, you know, about the plans for the car is, I was thinking, well, maybe what I do is I run a 917 shift knob, you know, the laminated wood, and get the tie-in from Porsche to Ferrari. But after seeing this, I may not be able to run without it, or I'll get both and I can switch them back and forth like shoes, right? Depending on how I feel. But I could not be more excited about this thing, and I am now going to go make room in the 914, and I have to get this thing mounted, because one of the things that EAG has also agreed that you'll also, you know, I read to you, you know, look forward to seeing the 914 complete, next step cables. Well, I can't just order cables because the length of these cables that they make are for 360, and the 914 is a lot shorter package relative to where the shifter sits in relationship to the transmission. So I'm waiting back from them to give me specific guidance on exactly where I measure. This goes on the trans, and then I assume it's going to be, you know, this location on the shift block housing. But they will give me a spec to measure from where to where, and then they're going to make me up a custom length set of cables, knowing that, you know, what's on this end and what's on that end is well known to them. So we're dangerously close to being able to sit in the car, make vroom vroom noises, and shift the gears. So let me get on that. I got to get this thing mounted, and that'll start to set where console heights need to go and all that. But there you go. So just a short one today, but we have a Ferrari 360 gated shifter for the 914. How cool is that?